Well, hello everyone and welcome. This is the 5-day success challenge. My name is Nina Roberts and I will be your host for these 5 days. Um, so let's start. Let me share my screen and let's get started. All right. A few housekeeping rules before we start. So we are streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You will receive the workshop resources, that is the workbooks and the exercises, the homework that you will need to do for this 5-day challenge. And then there will be replays if you're not able to join me live today. There will be replays. I will either send them to you if you registered via email. And if you are watching us on Facebook or on LinkedIn, you will find the replays there as well. And stay until the end because we will have a Q&A session at the end of each day. And there will be also some homework to do. So stay tuned and let's start it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nina Robert. I am a success and mindset coach. And before I started this journey of coaching and mentoring, I worked for more than a decade as a project manager and then as a team manager for IT multinational companies. I'm also an author of a published book called Clean Up Your Life. And when I'm not doing either of those things, I'm usually traveling or I'm at the gym. So I'm very passionate about these things. Traveling all over the world, this is what I do when I'm not working. And this is a major part of my life. I spend around 25 to 30% of my days traveling all over the world. I happen to have a very lucky life and enough freedom to be able to do that. And I'm really grateful for that. Or otherwise, when I'm at home, I'm usually at the gym trying a new challenge. So this kind of life that I have didn't happen by luck. And this is one of the main things I wanted to share with you today, that my life and my story was done and happening by design and not by luck. So the way my life started and the way it is happening right now, it all happened by choice, and it all happened as a sequence of choices that build up from one choice and from one decision to another that would eventually brought me where I am today. So the point is, your life can also be a choice. It is actually your choice, whether you're conscious of that or not, because your life happens as a succession of decisions that you make. And so is success. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And it's also a succession of decisions and of choices that you make throughout your days. And every day you do have a choice to either start doing things differently and decide of what you really want, or just keep going and do the same thing that you did yesterday with the same mindset. So what to expect at the end of this challenge and what to expect for these following 5 days. First of all, we're going to set up a worthy goal for 2024. That's the main purpose of this. Let me just admit some people on the waiting list. There you go. So I was saying what to expect at the end of the challenge. So first of all, we're going to set up a worthy goal for 2024. Then we will learn how to identify the basic elements of success. And eventually we will learn how to use our mind as a tool. So what do I mean by that? Our mind is a very powerful tool, and we have a set of mental faculties or mental muscles that as I love to call them, and we can actually learn how to strengthen and how to use them as tools to be able to reach our goals. So please feel free to ask your questions either inside the Facebook group. I'm just having a look at the Facebook group, or inside the Zoom meeting if you are with me inside the Zoom. All right. So what else to expect? On day 3 and 4, we will talk about the mind and the self-image. That is one of the basics, also the basic elements of the success equation. And we will see how attitude can actually shape your results in life, how to shift the attitude into a winning attitude, and to shift the self-image into a winning self-image to be able to reach whatever goals that we want to reach. And eventually on day 5, we will start talking about money and the science of getting rich, because yes, as success is, also getting rich is a science, and it can actually be put on an equation, and it can be understood scientifically. All right. So why is this 5-day challenge different? For me, it was different because this is how I started doing things that I do today. So a few years ago, I started asking myself questions about my choices in life and how my life was going to be the next few years. And I started gaining awareness, and I started understanding more about myself, and how I actually can shape my way through life, and can shape my results, and can design what my days are going to be like. So why is this different is that the thing about me as a person, I'm a very intellectual and rational person. So I'm always trying to figure out the why, and to ask questions, and to want to see a very clear planning, or see everything as an equation, see everything with proof and with scientific proof. So I've always been passionate about coaching, about motivation and productivity and all these things. And every time I would join a seminar or an event or subscribe to a course, at the end of the seminar, I'm super motivated to do things differently, and I have this boost of energy and of self-confidence. But just a few days after the seminar or the course is finished, I can't quite figure out how to actually continue doing what I want to do, because no one was giving me the recipe of success. No one was giving me a step-by-step process to follow. And as someone who loves processes, I've always been seeking that. And I happened to find it with a gentleman by the name of Bob Proctor, who later became my mentor. And this man literally changed my life. And so he did with millions of other lives. So I'm truly, truly grateful for stepping across one of his YouTube videos one day that I was searching for explanations of what was happening inside my life. And I just happened to find one of his videos, and I continued my path from that video, and I subscribed to his course, and I followed his teachings. And eventually I figure out that yes, success and riches and happiness can be a process and can be by design. Some people are lucky enough to be successful, and these people are called unconscious competent. They are competent, but not by choice, or at least not by enough awareness, but they just happen to be considered lucky. But the thing is, they do things differently, and so can you, and so can everybody else. The thing to understand is that we need a clear recipe, and we need a clear process for our minds to actually gain awareness and be able to process things easily, because the mind always needs clarity. Otherwise, it cannot really follow through the days, and cannot really follow through the circumstances of life. So that was about me. And let me just have a look at the comments, see if there are any questions. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. So a question for you, and to begin these 5-day challenges, this is actually the very first question to ask and the very first element of success. It's, what do you really want? It's not obvious to answer this question because most people actually don't even ask this question themselves and don't know what the answer is, because it's not the kind of question that we wander around every day asking, especially with what we have as circumstances, as environment, our current mindset. It can be not really obvious to ask this question. So I want you to focus with me here and ask yourself, truly honestly, what do I really, really want? What is your deepest desire, and what do you want your life to look like? One thing that you can do to start this, if you haven't really asked this question before, which is not uncommon, is to come up with a want list. So take a piece of paper and a pen and write down um, everything that you ever wanted to accomplish, be, have throughout these years and for the next few years. Like, what do you want to buy, for example? Where do you want to live? What would your life look like if you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish, if there were not any limits in terms of your ability to accomplish or to make your dreams come true, if there weren't any um, limits in terms of environment, in terms of income, in terms of skills, what would your life look like if there weren't any limits of this kind? And the thing is that all these limits can actually be shifted once your awareness of yourselves and awareness of what you want is clear enough. So this is why we have to start by that question. What do I really want? Because unless and until you know exactly what you want, you won't be able to go very far because you don't have a roadmap. So your vision, your want list, and the answer to this question, what you really want, is going to be the roadmap. So this is why it's the basic element of success and the basic element of this equation. So again, totally relax and start asking yourself this question. I will send you a workbook with much clearer exercise to do to come up with this want list. But what I want you to do today and until tomorrow is to really think about this list and really have it as a wish list. I know Christmas is over, but imagine that Santa is here for you to realize your dreams. And guess what? You are your Santa Claus. You are the person that can realize your own dreams. You just have to be clear, and that's the only prerequisite that you want. That the only prerequisite that you need is that you have to be clear and you have to be really honest with yourself as in terms of what you really want for your life to be and what you really want your days to look like. All right. So there are some basics to set up goals and to decide of what we want. A goal should be something that you've never done before. It should be really something new. And what do I mean by that? Something new is something that you haven't really achieved before, but it's also something that you don't know how to achieve yet. Because the purpose of the goal is not to achieve more or to get more. That's a consequence of what the goal is for. The goal is for, on a spiritual level, for you to allow you to grow as a person, as a human being, and to allow you to boost your skills, boost your life, have more of what your potential is allowing you to do. Your potential is limited, and most people carry on through life just doing the strict minimum or just doing whatever they think they can do. But the thing is that your potential is really unlimited, and you can grow as a person, and you can also contribute to the growth of other people all over the world through your business, through your friends, your family, whatever that you want to do with your life. You can grow as a person, but you can also achieve more growth to other people. The third purpose of the goal is that it's there to push you to stretch. And with stretch comes discomfort. And that's one of the main challenges, let's say, about goals, is that they always come up with a big stretch and they always come up with certain amount of discomfort. And this is why people don't actually set up big goals. Most people would settle for the goal that they know how to achieve, that they know exactly or approximately how to get there. But you don't want that type of goal, because if you know how to get there, well, first of all, it's not exciting anymore. And second of all, you're not going to be growing as a person. You will end up be the same person as you were before achieving that goal that you know how to do. So my point is, easy goals are boring and you don't want to settle for an easy goal. So settle for a big goal, and a big goal should be most of all something that you truly want. And this is why we need to be really honest with ourselves, because you owe it to yourself to express your full potential and to grow as a person, to grow as your potential is, to really be the person that you're aimed to be, or you're supposed to be. All right, so there are 3 types of goals. Basically, let's call them ABC to keep it simple. So what's an A-type goal, what's a B-type goal, and what's a C-type goal? To keep it simple, an A-type goal is something that you know how to do. It's probably something that you did before, or something that you achieved something similar before. Let's say, for example, if you are in a successful career right now, and you want to change careers, but you just, for example, want to change companies, you want to work for another company that is more prestigious, or you want to get a promotion that is 10% or 20% better than what you have right now. This is a goal that you know how to do. You basically have to decide what type of company that you want to join, have some interviews here and there, and then eventually by the end of the month, you are able to set up into this new goal or this new position. So this type of goal will never allow you to grow, or at least never allow you to grow through a quantum leap, or never allow you to be someone else, because throughout the goal, what we were saying is that we want to be someone else. We want to be someone better, someone more fulfilled, someone wiser, someone bigger, and with much more skills and much more richness through life. So we don't want that type of goal. And I remember I was talking with a client the other day, and she was expressing her goal. She wrote it down and she was quite happy with it. The goal was to just change careers. She was an account manager and she wanted to be an account manager for an even bigger company. And I said, okay, so you worked as an account manager for what, like 5 years now, and now you just want to switch companies because the company is more prestigious, because the clients are going to be more interesting, and because probably you're going to be able to travel more. That's completely understandable, but that shouldn't really be your goal, because eventually you know how to achieve that. So there isn't really that much motivation, probably in the next few days, where you're going to get to do the interviews and get this little excitement about changing careers and starting the new position in the new company. But eventually, you will not be growing as a person. You will not be really achieving that much for you to stay motivated and to fulfill your full potential, as we want to do with the goal. So A-type goals are easy but boring and will not allow you to grow. So you don't want that. That doesn't mean that you cannot want that type of thing, but do not consider them as goals. So if you want to change your car, but you have probably the same kind of car, or you want to change it for a slightly better one, okay, that's something nice that you probably want to do, but you don't want to call it your goal, because your goal should be much bigger than that. What about B-type goals? B-type goals are usually something that you can figure out how to achieve, that you think you can do. And let's focus about on the word think, because what we think we can do versus what we actually can do are totally different things. What we think we can do is usually limited to our current self-image, to our current beliefs of ourselves, about ourselves and our environment, and our abilities as a person. So B-type goal is what you think you can do. And usually, again, there is no inspiration for this goal, because with B-type goals, you can just set up a clear plan and say, if I have this and that, and if you give me 3 months to 6 months, I can probably achieve that quite easily, because I know what I can do. I know what I need exactly to go there, and I just need this amount of time. This is an example. So why is this also not good enough? It's because there isn't really an inspiration in there. If you know exactly how to do the things that you want, or if you know approximately what you need to go there, there won't be much inspiration, and you won't be growing as a person. So what do we really want for a goal to be? We just need it to be something that we want, simply that. But we needed something that we want so bad that we are able and willing to take risks, to sacrifice things, and to pay the price, quote unquote, pay the price for this goal to be realized. When I say paying the price, I mean you probably should invest time, should invest money. You probably would get uncomfortable for a while, because before things become clear or easy, or before you get even closer to making this goal real. So this is what we call a C-type goal. So a C-type goal is something that you just want, but want so bad that you are willing to stretch for you to go there. So what I want you to do is, again, to totally relax and to be true to yourself, and to ask yourself, among these things that I think I want, are these things that I know I can achieve? Are these things I think I can achieve if I have the right ingredients for my goal to become a reality? Or is this just something that I know I want? I don't know how to get there. I don't know what I need to get there. I don't know by when I can get there, but I just want that thing, and I'm able and willing to go forward, and to stretch, and to get uncomfortable for a while, because I just want it. I fall in love with the idea, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to grow as a person, and to become the person that is able to achieve this goal. Questions so far? Let me just take a look at the chat. Yes, I see there is a question. Can be in some cases the positive impact of goal A or B is more than C. Depends of what kind of impact that you want for your life. So if your A-type goal would allow you to reach a B-type goal that would eventually allow you to reach a C-type goal, that's probably a good idea, because these will be considered stepping stones. And when you have stepping stones, it's a very good approach to goal achievement, because you are following a plan, and you have more and more visibility once you have more money, for example, and once you have more skills, or whatever that you need to achieve your C-type goal. So like, for example, for me to start this business, I needed to start another business to build the income and to be able to start this business. The first business that I started was an e-commerce business that just allowed me more income as a side hustle while I was still working as an executive manager. But just with that income, I knew what I needed. I needed to start this business of coaching, and the investment was not something I could afford just with my job. So A-type goal was that I needed to grow my income to a certain amount that would allow me to start this business in coaching. So yes, but I was always aware that this was just a stepping stone. And eventually, once I realized the A-type goal, I would never forget about the C-type goal. So the C-type goal was the focus, and the A-type goal and B-type goal were just stepping stones. I hope that answers the question. All right. So there are 3 steps to goal achievement. First step, so that's the first question, is what do I really want? We have to start fantasizing and we have to start dreaming. And believe me, this is not something obvious, because I ask this question to people that I meet, and many of them either would settle for a goal that resembles everybody else's goal, like, yeah, I want a big house and I want 3 children and I want to be able to do 2 trips per year. Okay, that's very nice, but that's actually looking like everyone else's goal. Is that what you truly want? Or is that what you think you should want? Or is that what you learn that that's what everybody wants? And they usually would start thinking at that point, and they would answer that, yeah, actually, I don't think I've ever asked myself this question. So it's never too late to start asking the question, but it's an uncomfortable question, because when you ask yourself what you truly want, what happens is you're going to immediately start thinking of the limitations. Like, yeah, I want this, but I want to do this, but that would never happen because, and you already have, like, instead of a want list, you have a limits list, or a why this is not a good idea list. And this is totally understandable and totally common, because our mindset is usually limiting in terms of possibilities. What I mean by that is that our brains are wired to keep us in the comfort zone, to keep us where we are right now. And the environment, society, parents, friends are not really helping most of the time. They would usually tell you why it's not a good idea, instead of telling you that this is a good idea and you should go on with it. So eventually you're wiring your brain, or let's say, to stay more positive, you used to wire your brain to stay limited and to stay where you are right now, and to stay in this conformity standard, to want the same things that everybody else's want. Otherwise, you're the weirdo. Otherwise, you are the black sheep. Or otherwise, you think maybe I'm stupid. Like, if everybody else decided that this is what a human being should want, and I want something else that's different, that's weird. I'm probably going the wrong way. But let me assure you, if you want something different than other people, you're probably going the right way, because the majority of people are just settling with conformity, and you don't want a boring life. Believe me, life could be really, really exciting. So first step is to fantasize and dream, and you need courage to do that. Let's be honest, you need courage to have an honest conversation with yourself, because if you haven't really taken the habit of having deep conversations with yourself, and having a conversation like a child would do, limitless and really, really spontaneous, curious, and passionate with yourself, you probably won't be able to answer that question. So have enough courage to dare to dream and to fantasize. I want you to do this exercise today after the session. Start doing your want list and really, really be unlimited, because In the next few days, we're going to see why it's never a matter of circumstance, why it's never a matter of environment, and why it's never a matter of skills, income, or luck. Success is really a choice, and it's an exercise, and it's something that you can strengthen. It's actually a skill. Success is a skill that you can develop as any other skill. So dare to dream, dare to fantasize. And then we're going to step two. Step two is to ask yourself two questions. Am I able and am I willing? So what do I mean by am I able? Science and theology, the only two sources that people would go to find answers, will always tell you that you are able. Whatever that you want to achieve, human beings since the dawn of history have proved that they are able of amazing things, and the human potential keeps growing and keeps evolving, and things are getting easier and easier for human beings because we are able to do amazing things, and we can never be limited because what we set as records, like in the Olympic Games, for example, someone else would do better in just a few years. And when we compare what people used to do and used to consider as miracles, and in the last 50 years, for example, now it's something really easy and even a child can do it. So potential and limits are really relative. And as we evolve as human beings, we are understanding more and more that yes, you are able. So the first answer to the question, yes, you are able. Whatever you know it or not, or whatever you proved it to yourself yet or not, the answer is yes, you are able. The second question is, am I willing? And this is actually your choice. Because what do I mean by am I willing? Am I willing to do what? It's basically, am I willing to sacrifice? Sacrifice what? Sacrifice time, sacrifice money, sacrifice beliefs, and sacrifice especially your older self, your older version of yourself. You have to sacrifice that. You have to let it go, and you have to learn how to be someone else, and how to be and how to grow as a person, and how to let go of whatever limits, beliefs, circumstances, even people, time, sleep time, money, anything that you need to achieve this goal. So if your goal, for example, is to start a side hustle with your job and then eventually switch to a full-time career as an entrepreneur, you basically have to sacrifice some time instead of going out with friends, instead of sleeping, instead of binging Netflix shows. You probably have to work, you probably have to learn a new skill, you probably have to go to networking events with people, you probably have to do things that are not as fun as you prefer to do, but that's what sacrifice means. And am I willing should be the right question to ask, because it's really just up to you. Are you willing to put in the work to go towards your dream? Because if you're not, you should ask the question again. Is this what you really want? Because if you want it badly enough, you will do whatever it takes. When you are, for example, in love with someone, you do whatever it takes to go and see them and to be with them and to make them happy and to just live that love story that you want. So are you in love with the idea? Do you want it really bad enough to invest and to sacrifice what you need to get there? So that's an important question to ask. Do you have any questions so far? Let's take a look at the Facebook group in the meantime. All right. So when I started this goal, this dream of becoming a coach and mentor and doing this full time and starting my business, the idea popped up on my mind a few years ago. And at that time, I was in a place in my life where everything was just fine. But it started to become just fine, and that's a problem because it was not exciting anymore. And even though the place I was in at that time was a dream for me for a few years back, still, when I got there, I evolved as a person, and eventually it became boring because there were no growth anymore. So when I started asking myself these questions, am I willing and am I able? I figured out that I'm able because I proved to myself that I did things before that I didn't expect myself to do. But once you get there, you figure out, yes, I actually can do it. So the next time you think about doing something similar, try to remember your last wins. Try to remember the times in your life that you evolved and that you did something that you proved yourself that, yes, you are able. When I asked myself, am I willing? The answer was a list of things that I needed to sacrifice. For example, I needed to grow my income, as I said. So I didn't really have the funds to invest in this program, to become a consultant and to become a certified coach. But what I figured out is that, okay, so the first goal should be to get enough money to get there. And afterwards, I would still be growing as a coach. And in the meantime, I would still be learning new skills, and I will still be growing my network, and I will still growing this skill of teaching, and I will start with myself. So there was a lot of time and money to invest. And in the meantime, I figured that, yes, am I willing? Yes, I am, because this is what I want to do. I figured out over and over again, every time I would ask myself this question, what do I really want? Actually, the first answers were quite different of what I eventually figured that I wanted, because the first answers that I provided to this question were very shy, let's say. So the first time I started asking myself this question, I I started making a wish list, and the wish list was quite ridiculous, to be honest. Or maybe this is because now I look at it as a more grown person, or I look at it with more awareness of my potential. But the first version of your want list is gonna be a bit shy and a bit limited. So let's make this want list exercise a recurrent exercise that you would do, because every time you will look at it, you will remember something that you want more, and you are allowing your mind to unfold and to dive even deeper every time, over and over, that yes, this is what I want, but I also wanted this. Can I do this? Yes. Am I able? Yes, I am. And over again, once you become familiar with this exercise, you'll be able to figure out more and more of what you truly want. So let's talk about circumstances now, because circumstance is usually the very first excuse or a reason that you think is a reason for you to achieve or not to achieve the goal. So when we look at circumstances about what you want, and how they can allow you or not allow you to achieve what you want, it's usually the circumstances that we are familiar with, and we are looking at our current results. And this is a huge mistake, because your current results are actually a representation of where your mind was at a few days ago, a few weeks ago, or a few years ago. So if you're looking at your report card, it's just a representation, an illustration of what your mind was at a few weeks ago when you did the exam. It's not a representation of your potential. So circumstance is just like a screenshot of your life before, or a screenshot of the results that are illustrated by what your mind was looking at, was looking like a while ago. So usually when asked about what you really want, people would say, yes, I want that, but the society I live in would never allow me to do that. I want that, but I have kids, so I will never be able to find time to write a book. Or, yes, I want to travel, but my job is not that high paying and I will never be able to afford my dream. So never, never, ever look at the bad, because the circumstance is usually something from the past and it's usually something that you can change. I know that some circumstances are harder to change, but here's what you need to do. Look at the circumstances that you want, not the circumstances that you think are your reality, because your reality, again and again, can be shaped by your willingness and by your level of awareness. Now, what do I mean by that? Look at the circumstances that you want. Look for them. When you start looking at your goal, like for example, I want my goal to be, let's say, a dream house. Okay, instead of looking at the house prices and comparing the price with the amount of money that you have in the bank, that's the current circumstance. And the amount that you have in the bank is just a representation of what your mind was like a few years ago, since you started that job, since you started that lifestyle. And this is just a consequence. So never look at the circumstance as such, but look at the circumstance that you want. Where do you want this house to be? What is it like? Okay, how much does it cost? But for you to purchase it, what circumstances that you want? You want to get a higher job, you want to get a side hustle, you want to learn how to invest to triple your income in 3 months. These are the circumstances favorable to you to achieve your goal that you want, not the circumstances that will make you say, but I want to, but I would never, because. So always look for the circumstances you want. And I'm saying look for the circumstances, don't look at the circumstances. Because if you're looking at the circumstance, you're looking at something from the past. But look for the circumstances that you want. Describe exactly, if I want to get this dream house, what do I need to do? What do I need to have? Where do I need it to be? Maybe your dream house is somewhere else that is cheaper. I don't know. So I have a question here. Let me just read it. I really like what you said. My current result is a representation or illustration of where your mind was a few days ago. It's not a representation of my potential. Yes, exactly. Because really what our results are is just a representation of our state of mind. And it's usually a past state of mind. So, for example, I look at around me in my flat, and I figured that every single thing in here was a choice that I made. Every color, every object was a choice, was a decision that I made. But maybe I don't want these things anymore. Maybe I don't know. I mean, yeah, I still want them. I think, but maybe I'm not in a state of mind, or maybe my personality changed in the meantime. So when I look at my circumstances and a house or a space, a physical environment is usually a very good representation, because it's easier to access through our mind. So when you look at your house, when you look at your environment, it's usually just a representation, a combination of choices and decisions that you made throughout the years. I decided on every single object on this space. So I'm taking full responsibility of that, but I also know that I can change that. And once I change it, I'm basically building a new space. So think of your life as you think of your house, as you think of the physical space that you're in. Many of the things were maybe forced, let's say, or you just found it there and you just live with it. And many other things you have the choice to change and to design and to create yourself. So allow yourself to have this awareness of this amount of freedom and power that you have over your life. All right, so to summarize the 3 steps: first, you fantasize, and you dare to fantasize because you will need courage. and you make it a recurrent event, because you will need to ask yourself the question, what do you want, over and over again, for yourself to become more open and more, and let's say less shy, for you to be able to really answer the question. Because the thing with ourselves is that, unfortunately, we take ourselves for granted. We take ourselves for granted in terms of limits and also in terms of choices. We think we know ourselves, but we truly don't, because uh, I don't know about you, but I have like many conversations with myself throughout the days, and I always try to ask questions. I always try to answer as honestly and as directly and truly as possible. And sometimes when I ask the question, the answer is really, really unexpected, even though it comes from me, because your subconscious mind, and we will talk about the subconscious mind later, your subconscious mind is not really very open to express itself to you on a conscious level. So when you ask the question, try to write it down, and or try to speak it aloud, because an idea in the mind is not clear enough for you to have a clear answer unless and until you express it either loudly or you write it down. So really try to answer the question, ask the question, answer question over and over again, until you find it more comfortable to have conversations with yourself. And these are the best conversations that you can ever have. Believe me, you are a very interesting person, and you can never know how interesting you are until you get to know yourself better. And believe me, you are taking yourself for granted, and you think you know yourself until you have this kind of conversations. All right. So we were talking about circumstance, and my takeaway throughout what I did, of many changes that I did through my life, is that I always learned how to look for the circumstances that I want, and when I don't find them, I change them. One of the third circumstances that I had that were limiting me was what would people think? Society, family, friends. Like, who do I think I am for me to express myself that differently and make all these changes through my life? What would people think? And this is one of the very, very limiting beliefs that we have. So what I did an environment change. I started hanging out with people with the same mindset, and I started limiting the time I would spend with people that are limiting and limited. So as they say, don't come that often, and don't stay that long. If you have like family members or friends or people that are still dear to you, but they are really limiting you, or you don't really feel comfortable expressing yourself or talking about your goals with, don't come that often and don't stay that long. So just try to put yourself in an environment that is proper for you to unfold and grow as a person. Also, in terms of circumstances, there are changes that you can make in terms of circumstances. You can decide where you are, you can decide how you spend your time, and you can decide with whom you mix. And these basically three things that you can change: time, space, and people. This is everything you need usually to change your circumstances. Next, so the first step is to dream. The second step is to ask yourself, am I able and am I willing? The third step is to have a clear vision. So when we have a clear vision, if you look at the pyramid, we are transforming your fantasy or your dream into a plan. And what differentiates the dream from the plan? The plan is clear. The plan is a roadmap, and the plan has steps. So you don't have to know all the steps, but you need to know at least the first step. And the first step should be the answer to this question: what can I do today with what I have today to be able to move forward, to move closer to my goal? I don't need to know exactly what I need to go or what I need to do to achieve the goal from here. I don't know, and I don't need to know, because if I know, it's probably not big enough, as I said. So what do I need to know or to do today to be able to move closer? And this is your vision. Your vision is your how, is your life statement, if you will. So if your goal is to, for example, let's stay with the example of the dream house. If the goal is the dream house, you have to decide exactly what this house looks like. Where is it? Um, is it, I don't know, by the ocean? With whom are you living? Do you need to travel to, I don't know, live abroad for you to have this dream house, or is it really just a house around the corner that you saw and liked? The more and more you describe in detail what this house looks like, and where it is, and how your life is like inside of it, how many I don't know, places or how many events you can host in there. You start visualizing the events, or hanging out with friends around the house. You start decorating the house inside of your mind. Anything that you can do to design this dream life inside your head. If it's a new career, if it's a new business, uh, what does your day look like? What's your team looks like? What do you do on a daily basis? What's your project? I don't know. Like, ask yourself as many questions as you can to make this dream become a theory, become a plan. And then eventually you will know, what do I need to do today or tomorrow to move me closer to my goal. So here we go. This is what we call a goal card. And a goal card is one of the very basic elements, but yet the very most important thing that you need to have to move you forward to your goal. I will be sending you this goal card with the workbook today. And the goal card is literally designed to wire your brain to have always and at all times a vision of your goal. And there is a science of setting up a goal. So here I started with my goal, the date. The date is the theoretic due date for your goal. So like by the end of 2024. And you have to start with this sentence. I am so happy and grateful now that. Now, why are we starting with this sentence? We want to shift our mindset. We want to shift our frequency of thought to be already there. Because as we said earlier, we will never achieve the goal unless and until we are the person that can achieve that goal, because the goal is there for us to grow. So in order for me to grow, I have to be already there and be grateful that I'm already there. I have to switch my vibration. I have to switch my frequency to be already there. So when you repeat it over and over again, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then you express your goal in the present tense. So if the goal is the dream car or the dream house, I'm so happy and grateful now that I purchased my dream house, and it's by the ocean, and it has this and that, and I live there happily and in a very fulfilled way. So I'm expressing it in the present tense. I never use I wish or I would love to if, because it's not an if anymore. I have to switch my mind to believe it's already happening. So I'm already so happy and grateful now that I live in my dream, and I fulfilled this dream of having this amount of money in my bank account, or to do whatever I want. Actually, it's really just up to you to decide what you want, and to put there on the goal card what everything that you want to achieve. So you will receive this goal card today. Just put a date on it. You will never be able to know exactly when the dream is going to happen, because if you know exactly what it takes in terms of amount of time, money, effort, skills, whatever, it would never be a good goal. So again, we're just putting a date to make the image clear inside of our mind, and we want to put a date that is more or less realistic on a subconscious level. So like, put a year, for example, is the goal is big enough for you to achieve it at the end of the year. So end of 2024, I'm so happy and grateful now that my dream is fulfilled and I live the life of my dreams, and it looks like that. Make it short and sweet. Don't make it super hard, because the next exercise that I'm going to ask you to do is to write it over and over again every day. So why do we need to do that? Why do I need to write my goal every day? When you write your goal, you are switching your thoughts to start thinking of ways to achieve your goal. When you are always focusing on an idea, again, I'm using the example of being in love with something or someone, you can never take them out of your mind. And then you are always thinking of ways to be there and be closer to them and making them happy. So same thing with your goal. You want to fall in love with the idea. You want to get emotionally involved with the idea. And in order for you to get emotionally involved, since we don't have the habit of thinking about what we love and thinking about what you truly want, you want to implement this habit as a new mindset, as a new wiring to your brain. So repetition is the first step that you need to implement. So repeat your goal, read it over and over again. And the fact that we're using a goal card is for you to be able to look at it often. So carry it with you in your purse, in your bag, in your pocket, and look at it often, over and over again, and read it aloud if you can. Otherwise, you can write it down on your tablet, take a pen and paper with whatever notes that you've taken over of the day. Just write your goal over and over again. It will keep your mind wired into thinking of new ways and new ideas for you to be able to reach your goal. So that's it for the goal card. I don't know if you guys have already a goal in mind, if you want to ask questions about that. If you don't know if your goal is the right one, or if you need any tips to come up with a right sentence for this goal card statement. So let me know if you have any questions. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and yeah, I actually wanted to show you the workbook for today. So yeah, here we go. So you will receive the link to the Google Drive with this workbook. And let me just go through the exercises real quick. First exercise, as we said, is to sit back, let your body relax, and ask yourself, what do you really want to be, do, or have? Second is to describe in as much detail as possible your feelings, assuming your wish was already fulfilled. And why are we doing this? Is because we want to switch into the right vibration and want to switch into the right mindset. And for us to be able to do that, we have to be in the same emotion as we will have when we will achieve that goal. Third exercise is to write a statement in the present tense, starting with, I'm so happy and grateful now that. So that's the goal, affirming that you are that person. What do you look like? Where do you live? What's your life like? And what do you do? So this is basically a description of the person that has already achieved that goal, with the same level of confidence, with the same level of happiness and fulfillment. What are they doing? What's their activity look like? What's their life look like? Fourth question is, what activities, places, or experiences evoke positive feelings in you? Create a list and use it to shift your energy whenever you find yourself stressing, doubting, or feeling limited or lacking. Now, why it is very, very important that you do this exercise, because you always want to be on the right frequency, on the right mindset. You never want to fall into the limiting beliefs and the limiting mindset, because if you're not really in a good vibration, if you don't feel good, you won't feel inspired and you won't be able to think of ways to achieve your goal effectively. And then you have some space to put some notes, so you can use that to come up with your wish list. And for the wish list, I advise you to come up with 10 to 30 things that you want. So write down 10 to 30 things, and you will see that starting maybe from the 15th or 16th thing, you'll really start to tap into what you really want. And you will always find also this goal card that you can print and carry it with you. That's what I wanted to show you today. And let's have a look at the questions. So I have this question. I noted a lot of goals personally, and without them, it's like traveling without a GPS. Yes, exactly. So your goal and your vision is your GPS. It's your how and it's your roadmap. Just make sure you don't follow many roads at the same time. So you want to come up with a wish list, and then you want to organize your wish list with what you really want the most and what you want for you to be able to do more. So what we talked about, A type, B type, C type. When you do your wish list, try to organize your wants into A, B, or C. And then when you come up with the C-type goal, that's your roadmap, and that's the only GPS that you need. But also don't lose focus on the other things. If you can come up with ways to do other things that will facilitate the C-type goal, then yes, go for it. Second question is, should we go to details talking about your goal card, or should it be macro? For the goal card, it should be macro, but the vision, the life statement, it should be a very detailed description. So the goal is, for example, I'm so happy and grateful now that my business is successful and that I'm attracting clients from all over the world. The vision is exactly what I'm doing every day, what my life looks like, what my business looks like. Do I have a team? Do I travel for work? What my clients look like? How is my level of self-confidence? Things like that. But for the goal card, you want it to be a very concise sentence. Let's just keep it to a very short and sweet sentence. All right, I don't have any questions inside the Facebook group, so that's it for me today. If you have any more questions, we can always meet tomorrow for day 2. And tomorrow we are going to talk about the mind. And it's going to be a very interesting discussion, because the mind is going to be your tool. And we're going to learn many ways on how to master our subconscious mind and master our thoughts, and how to design our reality using our thoughts and our emotions. So I wish you a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.